Hello. The film tells a story based on the real events that the former prisoner, nicknamed Motilek, has experienced. The film begins with the message that the plot is based on real events. Then, a window opens in the iron prison door, from which the main character peeps, prisoner Henri Charrière, nicknamed Motilok. Events are transferred to Paris in 1931. The bloodworm, in an expensive suit, opens the safe in some which includes drinking alcohol, right on the street in front of the performing artists. The lessor knocks in the apartment of the naked Arnie with a girlfriend. Not suspecting anything bad in her address, the thief opens the door, and the gendarmes are broken to him, accusing of the murder of a local pimp, that very informal beaten on the eve. Forging her beloved girl, the moth promises to escape and admits that the prisoners are not against the attempts of the prisoners. Those who are not shot right away will be put in a single camera for 2 years, with relapse for 5 years. If they manage to dump, the sea around is teeming with hungry sharks. But if someone is killing someone inadvertently, then the glorious French invention of guillotine in the first half of the 20th century was still actively used. But the convoy stops the outrage with a warning shot into the air. On the way back, the guards pick up a local ferryman with a party of fresh courtesans. The bloodworm tries to agree with him to dump him, but he almost surrenders him, bargaining a large price. As a result, he agrees to help, only for everything, all 3 days, after which the boat sails from the island. Later, during the shower, some tried to escape, gathering a couple of guards with a knife. One to death. Jules turned out to be sentenced. Henri gets up from his place, learning him. After cutting off the head, the commandant tells the moth and another prisoner to choose to remove the body. Henri chooses Louis, who does not smile at all, to carry the corpse. When they carry the body to the boat, the fraudster becomes bad. He falls without strength. The escort beats him with a rapping, which leads the moth from himself. The cracker beats a steaming stone on the head and is preparing to run away. The exhausted Louis, who lost his glasses and is unable to even stand, has to be left. Henri jumps into the river under the whistle of bullets produced by escorts. By night, the bloodworm gets to the boat. He has no money with him, but he promises to pay later. In response, he laughs, and his friends with weapons come out of the darkness. They have a fugitive agreement with the commandant, paid better than convicts can offer. Henri for 2 years is locked in a single camera, where you cannot break the silence. There he is periodically beaten, and fed only so that his legs do not extend. Proteins, just like in a vaunted American prison. A happy incident helps to avoid a terrible fate incredibly, to sway in imprisonment. The warders who suspected something was wrong with the bucket once checked the bucket and found smuggled coconut. After that, personally, the commandant himself came to ask who it so carefully feeds him. The bloodworm diligently keeps silence. Louis managed to become a clerk and gain some freedom among prisoners. He visits a friend in the hospital, and he reports that he did not abandon the idea of escape. But now the scammer himself has already developed the plan. In a few days, a movie screening will be arranged for local important cones. The commandant will increase the guard, but it will be mainly near the guests, and not around the perimeter. In addition, the noise from the cinema will hide steps and other activity. Henri plans to details. He simulates bouts of riot so that the doctor gives him a sedative, which is successfully delayed. Then he talks with a cute boy on whom he put his eyes, and the smashing of a female affection was smashed by a smaller order. At the right time, it will have to be distracted. The last bar is a meeting with Cellier. He cut his hand to get into the hospital, but he could still get a boat if there is money. Louis has to give him almost everything that remains. On the appointed day, Louis, playing the role of the waiter, pushes the sedative to the vodka, which the guards transfers, supposedly a present from the commandant. At this time, Mature is distracted by a lustful, healthy guard. Henri and Charrière unscrew the legs from the bed, after which they follow the shower, where they stun the guard. But he is detained by the commandant. Rain begins suddenly. The open-air film show is interrupted, and guests are accompanied under the roof. But due to the closure, the light turns off. To the sounds of the automatic siren, Louis unlocks the door to comrades, and together they go to the wall of the prison. When they, having knocked out a Mature against Louis, takes out a knife. However, the cute, too, was not in vain pleasing the guard to now kill the accomplices. He rushes to the big man, but flies overboard. A fight is tied between Charrière and the moth, in which the first almost drowned the second. Louis, sitting before, was sitting aside, realizing that such an outcome does not shine at him in anything good. Picks up drop sharpening, and begins to poke systematically in the back of the Charrière. Having thrown off the corpse overboard and picking up a lubricant, they fall into the storm. In the next scene, Henri comes to his senses somewhere in a hut on some kind of island. It is not clear how they got to land, but local natives risking himself. In the next scene of a losing weight and graying moth is released from a single chamber after 5 years. The commandant directs him to the island of the devil, a terrible prison on a lone rock in the middle of the ocean, with which it is impossible to escape, for there is nowhere to go. There, in the old fortress, the recent days of the prison society, which are represented by aged Louis,